Society and specifically government and we as citizens should be pushing to say, if technology is going to take away a lot of value from how people do things, which I do think it will in time, not now. Take that value and give it back to people. I strongly think that. And I think Reid Hoff said, imagine a world where the people get paid to do really hard work, like be a parent. That's not easy. Imagine people get paid to do hard work, like be a teacher. Those things are extremely valuable for society. And if those people were paid and didn't have to have a job to support themselves, to raise children, to teach children, right, for the future, just imagine what that world is, right? Just
Yeah.
imagine what it's like. I'm staying home to take care of my son or my child, and the government's paying me to do that because they understand it is valuable to do that. That doesn't mean we should do it now, but I can see a world where that's true.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Chris here with another episode of How to Copy and Steal. Today is a very impromptu, last minute episode. I just turned a catch up meeting with an old friend of mine, an old manager of mine, and someone I consider to be a mentor of mine. And I was just like, hey, let's record this. Let's see if something comes of this. We always have really interesting conversations about tech and everything within like the UX industry and even the world now as I'm like getting into being a dad, and he is a father of two beautiful children. So yeah, today I'm here joined by a good friend of mine, Juan Lopez, or a good inside joke, Juan Lopez. Remember that joke?
I do. I do.
How you doing,
It's
Juan?
not as good. I'm good, man. I'm good. I thought you were gonna go with the J Lo one, but
We could do the J Lo one too.
yeah, I'm gonna go no glasses on this one.
Ooh, we
But
can.
yeah. Thanks for having me. I really like your intro. I'm glad I'm a mentor. I like to be a peer as much as I am a mentor.
I think
I
that's what
think
makes you a
it's.
really good mentor.
I hope so. I hope that's part of the whole deal. Yeah, man. Super glad to be on.
Yeah, I'm really excited to just chat, catch up with you. I feel like the world has been charging ahead. 2023 has been the year of automation. And I remember we used to have some really interesting conversations about automation. It feels like all the conversations we've had are now coming to fruition. You get me? Like we used to
Mm,
talk about AI not taking jobs, but really arming creatives with the ability to just like try different things in different ways and then land on a spot and go for it. Really interested to get your feel for this state of the world that we're in and how it applies to you.
yeah.
Have you
Wow.
been using any AI tools?
Those are big topics. But 100%. Yeah. I've paid out of pocket. I'm like, I can't. I'm not going to be that guy that's like, yeah, I tried it once and then never looked at it again, or I can't afford $20 a month. Yes, I can, and I should, and the same way I try with everything, I should always be trying out the newest things, and that includes if I'm fortunate enough to pay for some of them, I pay for them. But yeah, I'll take it back, Chris. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we were talking about AI. That's when me and you worked together,
Mm-hmm.
and
And that seems so fucking long ago. God damn. Wow.
it was four with us. It was 2019, but about a year before that, I know there was conversations at the companies I was in or around with AI, and AI was always like, it might as well have just been, the letters just might as well have been BS. Like it was just complete and utter nonsense. Like AI, yes, one day something AI will be cool
Mm-hmm.
for people at the company or people in any sort of B2B space. But unless you were, Google or Amazon or anything like that, it was a joke, right? There were no developer tools for it. No one was going to stand up their own AI anything, or obviously no language models. Although some of that stuff was around at the time, but it was definitely in research at Google and stuff like that. It was basically OPS. But nowadays, 100%, it is eye opening every time I think about or I read or see one new prompt, one new way to get the most out of this sidekick, right? It's funny because Shopify, if you're a Shopify user, Shopify has something called Sidekick, and it's AI, but they give it. I like their name. and it's this.
Like
It's not out yet.
Shopify. Wait, repeat that. I don't know if I
Go
just
for it.
observed that Shopify is an AI tool now.
Shopify has something called Sidekick,
Okay.
and it's an AI. It's an assistant, right? It's all fluff for now, right? It's
Okay.
just Toby, the CEO, talking about it, and blah blah blah. It's coming this summer, but I've heard Toby talk to Shopify CEO, and I care more about Shopify now because I'm actually like working inside Shopify as a admin and connecting apps and connecting data points to each other and running websites off Shopify. So that's actually why I care about it. But yeah, I've tried them all and I care about them all, and there's a ton of value. And on my other podcast, we can talk about the name later. I talk about this with my friend Ed actually a lot, and we're talking about the AI, sorry, the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild, I believe, right? And those unions and those strikes that are happening, and how it impacts how AI could have an impact on those things. But
Yeah.
I'll sum it up the way you said it. The truth is, all of this is a nice, really powerful super tool in your belt if you could use it well, right? It ain't
Yeah.
taking anybody's job. I saw a great article. It was like, wait a second, AI was supposed to take my job. I didn't take my job. And I was like, yeah, duh. Like, you're, it's an effing tool, man, and you should know how to use tools. But it's been really interesting the last few years, last few months, I should say.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been
how about
happening
you? Like,
so fast that it feels like it's years worth of progress within opinion.
that's true. Definitely feels like that. I would say last summer I was in an open AI training ground or whatever they call it, messing around with it and generating pages of content based on a couple prompts, and I was like, this is cool. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but like the fact that I could type in some prompts and like a bunch of stuff comes out, oh, I was like, it's pretty awesome. But it's funny. So how about you? Because on my side, I got a bunch of text that I have to write
Mhm.
or text that I have to summarize. But I'm actually interested on the audio, podcast, video, clips, video, anything you post online. How has any of that impacted you? What have you been working on in the AI space?
So I've been practicing like using AI and seeing how I can automate things from like a micro content perspective. I think
Mm,
that's the biggest impact to the industry of which I stand in right now. I think we're a live streaming company. We really focus on long form content, and that micro content has always been like a thorn in my side. As how come you're leaving money on the table when you don't offer this to clients? And it's because hey, like I believe in long form. I believe in like doing everything live so that the person, like the client, can then receive that long form content and create that short form content that much faster. You get me? That was our whole
sure.
selling point. And now the tools exist out there for them to do. I've been signing up to every free trial, finding the good ones, like I think it's Opus Pro or Opus Clips. And I've been creating numerous emails trying to get as much free generated episodes as I can. They finally caught
Right.
on to me, and now they're looking at your IP address. So I guess I gotta go somewhere else to create a different email. But yeah, I think that's been like the biggest impact on like how we've been using AI as a part of the business here, just like trying to get it. And it hasn't been perfect. What I will say is, and maybe it's just these tools like getting understanding that I'm like maybe they're not giving me access to the best of the best because they see that I'm on like my fifth free trial. But I'm starting to use it as more of a jumping off point. You get me? Like, here, look at this episode and tell me what I should be paying attention to. You get me?
Yeah.
And then I'm using those like timestamps as a moment to go into Descript, the editing tool that I use to create micro content, and just easily pulling them out of there or like telling the story from that perspective. I'm Descript, if you're listening, hurry the fuck up. Let's get on this. Let's have this built in. Like I'm sure everyone is. This is a question to you. Do you feel like they're all using the same core technology? Because I feel like I've seen a lot of
Mm,
tools built on top of ChatGPT where they're just adding WYSIWYGs on top of it. You get me? Like they're just adding
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
UIs and just beautifying the process and making it easier to
Right.
interact with and throwing a price tag on there. Have you been seeing
Yeah,
that, or
yeah.
have you been seeing things from scratch?
No, it's hard to tell you for sure, right? What I
Yeah.
can tell you is if you dig a little deeper, 8 out of 10 people are using OpenAI API, and then a couple, obviously not the big players, ignoring the big players, but any brand new companies, they might, there's Anthropic is the other one, and there might be another one, and I think those they get a one off, right? One out of those 10 are using some other tool. But I think the truth is, if you're strictly summarizing content, which is such a big part of all the AI implementations, right? I have a ton of data. How do I present this? An AI will give you a better idea than you racking your brain, and that's going to be an open AI or Anthropic. But yeah, Descript. I've been in Descript a lot recently, right? I mentioned that podcast again,
Bro,
which is
mention
brand
it.
new for me. So
Shout it
it's
out.
really weird to say.
I was gonna ask you questions about it as well later on, but please mention. I
I'm
do
just
have a question
This
as
is
to what the
weird.
name is inspired by. I told you I did
Oh,
get
no
to
doubt.
listen to an episode. I think I listened to the episode where you and your buddy were talking about the lotto, and I think I was
Oh, no
getting
doubt.
lost into. I was actually taking notes as to like how he would go about spending the lotto and like how he would find the youngest person in his family with their head on straight and just tell them to do like the what is it, like the drip feed like approach rather than taking
Right.
the lump
Yeah.
sum.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. Okay. So let's see. I'm in Descript a lot because of this new podcast that I'm like so shocked that started. The podcast is called Bips and Threads. Bips is Bips, and I don't know if it has a great name, but I know it's the name that we're going with. I like it for now. But
It brings
it
up
really started with,
questions.
yeah, it's not a bad thing. I hear you. Well, the question is, what's a bip? The answer is, it's a basis point, right? Which is a financial term that the Federal Reserve Bank uses, and it's basic. It's just complete jargon that very few people understand, and that's half the show. Half the show is, and I don't know anything about whatever's on CNBC and or any financial news. Just talk to me like a normal person, right? And so I use bips as soon as someone's, oh, it went down by two bips. I'm like, I really want to hurt the person who said that, right? Shut up. Those are not words that mean anything to anybody except you, and it's frustrating to me. So that's the bips end. And then in that same episode, we ended up talking about threads. Threads was new as of a month ago, right? So
Mhm.
early on, and I thought, I think it's really important, and that's the tech angle and the UX and the design side of things that I love to talk about, and anything technology really. And we'll see where Threads ends up. But at the time, I was like, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. This was a month ago. Not because they don't have the users, just because every social network has its own problems, and
Mhm.
you have to solve those problems. Just because it's a new thing doesn't get you a new. You still have to solve the problem. That's what I'm trying to get at. And the problem is moderation, right? The problem is how do you get voices quieted and some voices elevated and everything in between. So that's the hard part. And so yeah, Bips and Threads is finance and tech, and that was the finance and tech of the day. 3 years from now, it'd be like, what's a thread? Although, but on that side, Bips will probably be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's the episode. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast. But the
I'll put a
Descript
little
stuff,
QR code right below you when this comes out.
no doubt, no doubt. I appreciate that. But the Descript part, man, I've been on Descript since. Did I put you onto Descript? Did you put me onto Descript? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't know. That's a good question because I remember, just for a little background, like we worked in a space where we were always looking for like transcription tools, and so you and I were both queued up to find it really easily and see the power within it. I always recommend it to every client that we interact with, where it's look, it changes the way you think about video editing. It changes the way you think about chopping something up. It makes it more
Yeah.
approachable because everyone knows how to use a Google Doc or a Word doc. It's a Word doc for us growing up, but now I guess it's the Google Doc. But
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the record and say I put you on it because I seem to always be on top of these things, right? Some of my friends are always like, Juan, how do you always know what the thing? And I'm like, it's just my thing. I care about what's new and I pay
yeah,
attention. I don't care where it's at. But yeah, Descript's been awesome. Descript, if you're listening, Chris needs a sponsor,
for real.
and he uses it all the time. So if you're listening, Juan and Ed need a sponsor too, Bips and Threads. But yeah, it's been awesome. Except the thing you said, which is, hey, I want those clips. I don't want to do any of that work. I don't know where this stuff is. I don't want to have to figure any of that part out. And does that mean I'm lazy? Sure. But does that mean there's an opportunity for someone? Also, yes. That's what I'm hoping for. So I hope you do a hands-on video on how you use Descript. And if you've done it already, send me a link. If you haven't, I'll be waiting for that on my subscription list.
Giving me ideas of what I should go live on a live studio with. I've been slacking on that part. I've been doing the interviews for How to Copy and Steal just because it feels like it's easy for me to just get out and just have conversations, whereas like planning the lives to do things is just like a little nerve-wracking. I definitely want to go live, and I just got like a little product here where I learned a lesson recently. I got this capture card, which is meant to like capture screens, especially for gaming devices. And I'm now learning that those capture cards come locked with a specific thing called, I forget what it's called, but it's called HDPC, something like that, or HDCP, something like that. And it's basically a lock that like whenever you try to use a capture card on your game console, you have to, one, they don't tell you to turn this feature off on your console. So like I bought one that was super cheap on Amazon called Pluggable, and I'm probably going to return this one to get that one back again. This one was just slightly more, but that one didn't even tell me to do it either. Apparently there's a setting on your consoles that you have to turn off so that you can actually screen record your stuff. But when you turn on that setting, you can't use apps like Netflix and YouTube because they're protecting that content so that you can't repurpose it for other things. And I'm just like, I thought the first capture card I got was broken. You hear me? I returned it to Amazon. I thought this one was broken until I just spent like 3 hours online, like combing through the internet, and saw a tutorial on someone on their PlayStation. Oh yeah, you have to turn off this checkbox. Had no reason why he had no idea why he was turning off that checkbox. He was just like, you have to do it in order for it to work. But yeah, and apparently normal capture cards, because how I used to capture screens before was I would run the HDMI through a splitter to duplicate the signal, and I would send that second signal to a normal capture card. I don't have it on me here, but those normal capture cards allow you to capture whatever you want. Like they don't have that lock on it. So yeah, that was something I need to review live, as well as just going over more if I process things. So thank you for the idea.
Well, that Descript one I'm on, you're splitting capture card. I'll pass that one on to our friend Rich, because I will need that one.
Talking about Rich, I'm gonna plan an interview with him sometime in September. So just trying to get everyone on here. Hopefully my goal will be to like do these podcasts live and give my audience a way to interact with guests. So it's like another reason for guests to push the podcast that they're going to be on, because it's just like, if they have a big following and they're not used to going live, now they can go live, and I can hopefully devise like a segment, maybe like towards the end of the show, where it's just like an open Q&A where you can come on and change the trajectory of the show based on whatever questions come in. But
that's smart. That's smart. I'm thinking about things like that myself, about interviews, who I can bring on, and the interactive pieces.
What's the goal?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, let's see. First goal is to try something new, because I have now podcasts have been a thing that I was listening to in 5. Because I commuted to work. It was an hour and a half commute each way, and I get tired of radio real quick, and so I got into podcasts. And it's, you mentioned the long form stuff, right? I think long form is extremely important. I think it's where people can connect, not only individually, but when you're talking and it's one to many, you can get a really good sense of people, right? It's not just a clip. It's not just the one-liner that's funny. It's, here's who this person is, right? And I think it's super important to gather that. And I've always wanted to do it myself. Never really had an outlet that made any sense to me. But my friend Ed said, Juan, let's try it. I think we'd be a good pair. And we brainstormed a couple of ideas. And again, that finance/tech overlap felt good enough to get started. And
from finance?
He's worked for banks and got a business major, all that good stuff. And it just felt like one of those things that I could talk about with him, I get meaning I could say, hey, let's try this. No, it's not gonna work. Let's try this. And I was like, that's BS. As like, you just have to start, and you'll figure it out as you go. And we're not worried about our following, right? Because it's small, and we're not worried about what we're talking about just yet because it's like it's small, and so we could be open and we can just share, and it feels good. I love having conversation with people. I love listening to podcasts where they're interviewing people, right? Because
Yeah.
it's I get a really good sense of that stuff. So it felt like the right time. This year has been up and down with clients and things like that for me, and it was like the summer's here. Let's take it as an opportunity.
That's dope. Do you guys have, so I before I had asked you like a goal, it seems like the goal is to learn more about yourself, push yourself out of your comfort zone and see the opportunities that come with that. You get me? Because these things open up doors, like low key, like even if you don't plan for it to happen, like it winds up happening sooner or later. Shit, I forgot the question I was going to get into. So I was like queuing that up. But do you guys have any sort of established cadence? Is there any structure around it, besides just you and him casually getting on? Is there a release cycle? Are you guys planning to cover daily topics, or is it just open conversation?
Yeah, we have a little pre-show, a little banter, or a little review about what we're talking about within the day before. Right now, we're going weekly, and it's the same. It's the same. It's another version of the same thing. I can tell you that last week we had to skip a day, and we're like, and then I was ready to say, we'll push it to next week, right? And I was like, no, and I don't know if it was me or Ed, but the point is, we're just like, let's just do it. Let's just push it. What's the worst thing that can happen, right? It's the worst thing that can happen is you don't record, and then you next week you're like, oh, we're back, and or like we're stuck, and like we want to make up for it. Oh, we gotta make it good up. No, just keep going. Right? You just have to keep going. And I think, and you're gonna get a bunch of trash. Like I mean, I'm not. I think I'm happy with our shows. I listened back to a couple. Um, with some friends and family, but I know most of it is not great. Not just yet. Right? You gotta work at it, and so this is how I get better. So I'm super happy about it. But the weekly and it's very high level. Just give me a business topic, give me a tech topic, and we'll figure out some nice like some random fact, some random news story that piqued our interest, and keep it really light for now. Yeah, that's our goal. He's by the way, he picked up Descript like that. I was using the ums and the word I probably said here a bunch of times was just my catchphrase, and so I was editing for all that stuff, and then I would send it to him. He created the trailer at the beginning and threw in some no, and he figured it all out. I didn't show him anything. It was super easy to use. So yeah, it's been a really fun experience.
Yeah. I don't remember if I caught like an intro and things like that. Maybe it was on the episode and I maybe breezed by it, but that's sick.
Well,
That's super dope. That just proves Descript is just one of those tools which is what you get type of deal. Like it's
it's
powerful.
yeah, for sure. It's such a great thing. Yeah, it's just I was working with him. I said, listen, as it's very much known, go watch video, go listen to a podcast. If you start with an intro and there's no like gotcha, there's no, oh, I'm going to tell you about this thing that's going to be interesting in like minute and 30 minutes down, it gets you locked, right? There's a reason everybody does it, and I think it's good. And it's, we try to be funny, right? This is not a serious show. um, we try, even though finance is the topic, we are not trying to be like boring CNBC, right? We're trying to like take it and make it personal. How does it affect me? How does it affect my family? And then throw in some jokes. And so drop a joke in the intro and you can't go wrong. I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm that funny. It works.
you are. I was gonna ask, what do you guys use to currently record the podcast? Are you guys in person, just like recorder, or
Oh,
are
you
you
don't want to
doing a
know.
Zoom call?
You don't want to know, Chris.
Please don't tell me it's Zoom.
It's Google Meet. It's even better than be Zoom. It's
Oh,
Google
gee.
Meet,
Wow.
dude. Have you noticed the audio quality is? Have you? And honestly, you said you listened to one? You gave me some details.
So, so I did notice that it sounded like phone. It sounded like you guys
Okay.
were on a phone call.
Okay.
And maybe that's just because I'm used to hearing podcasts with mics on.
Of course. Yeah.
Have you thought about or tried Riverside at all? I know Riverside is like really good at like adding post processing into their
Mm.
audio. I don't know if Ecamm does the same. This was actually leading me into another question, which is, are there any kind of goals of, wait, so if you're recording on Google Meet, that means video's there. And I was going to ask, are you guys ever going to do video and give the people something like another medium to watch it on?
Yeah, give them what they want, right? No, most of the time we just turn our cameras off and you get the little avatar thing, which is
Yeah.
silly, whatever. But no, we've talked about it a bit, and I'll be honest. Again, I forgot if we recorded this or not. The fact that this light is on above me is not normal, right?
Yeah.
After 8 o'clock, my kids are in bed, and I don't want to turn any lights on. I have everything I can do to make sure they're sleeping, right? And I live in New York. I got a 2 bedroom. My wife's in the other room. There's no other space, right? I don't got a den. I don't got another office. For me, after hours is late. But I'll say this about YouTube and the video. I'd say it's much less about the video for me and for us. It's much more about having YouTube be a different channel of distribution, right? Because no one, like, I don't know how people find out about podcasts, right? It's other than some podcasts talking about podcasts as their ads for other podcasts, right? Often that's the case. But I don't open my podcast player and search for new podcasts. It's never, right? I open my podcast player and I hit play on whatever I was listening to, and then it just plays the next one.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find. And so we talk about clips, and obviously there's social. But I think YouTube, it just makes it for, if we can just rank close enough to some other video talking about finance, close to some other video talking about tech. Mm-hmm. I don't by any means expect that to happen tomorrow, right? But it's just a matter of getting it up there and maybe making it fun, right? Maybe making some of the visuals, right? It doesn't have to be me and him. That could be cool for a while, but we're thinking about throw some charts on there. He's talking about finance. Here's the chart we're talking about, right? Actually, thinking about it now, I've never had a reason to use them, right? I can't believe I have to say that out loud. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. What the hell?
Yeah, it's called mm-hmm.
There's a tool called mm-hmm.
I don't even. It's literally called mm-hmm, and I don't even know what to like. Could I look at? Yeah, there it is. Let's see. Nope, I can't find it. Whatever. I'll link in the show notes. But the point is, it's a teleprompter. You can put up video next to your face. You can obviously do thirds and all that stuff. But it's really meant to be the easiest way possible to record yourself and something in the background at the same time, right? Again, presentation, video, memes, all that stuff. There are probably like a bunch of other tools, but
Descript lets you record and do screen recordings too.
And with stuff in the back, like I can put a fake background in there, whatever.
I don't know if it'll put a fake background behind you per se, but I know like it'll let you essentially do tutorials where you're just screen recording your thing, like anything you would do, like showing off something to someone on Google Meet, but like just for yourself internally to give out to a team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the easy one to start with, 100%. Or even actually on that note, Google Meet will do it too. Like I'm just sharing my screen. But the whole point of and I did find it. Let me put it in our chat so you can see it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, everyone who sees me squinting at the screen. Everyone equals, cool people. I just put it in the chat.
Are you putting it in the Ecamm chat?
Yeah. There's an Ecamm chat. I got it.
Yes, it is. Let's go. Someone else uses these things. I love working with someone from like a UX.
I see a chat thing. I just hit the chat button, right? Because we're there. But sounds pretty cool. I've played with them on mobile. But yeah, back to the point. For me, YouTube is definitely an idea we're gonna go for. But it might not be.
Is this a legit site or a legit product?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I sent you to a G2 crowd. It's for real, yeah. I can't believe it still exists. It launched a couple years ago, and I'm like, I know why you launched a couple years ago, but nowadays, I don't know. Who knows how well they're doing? Could also be a sponsor, so if you're listening, pay attention. Chris Hernandez, sponsorship opportunity. So behind the scenes, do you have any secret language that you use to know when to get to a certain part in your video?
Secret language. Oh, like almost like clap marks or something like that. To
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no secret language. Priscilla and I definitely have like hand signals and things that we do to like get closer to the mic type of thing without her yelling
Mm.
in the back over camera and things like that. I
Okay.
do try to with my clients in the past, and this is something like I need to do. I want my clients to be able to say, clip that. You get me? Or say something. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be clip that, but that's a good one right there. You get
Yeah.
me? Define what it is
Right.
with the client, just so it makes it easier for me to find those moments in Descript. Hey, there we go. Hey, that's quick and dirty. Oh, so it's an integration. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Do you remember Snap
Oh,
Camera
I'm
was
so mad that they removed that, bro. I used to
definitely
use Snapcam to do interesting moments during podcasts, and I remember one time we had a really engaging moment with a live show where one of the guests was gonna openly apologize to a fighter that he said couldn't fight before, like her boxing was whack, and I threw a sad face filter on him while he was apologizing.
nice.
And the
Yeah,
people
man.
in the comments went wild. They were just not
Yeah.
expecting it. It's like an added benefit to throw a filter on a professional. People are used to seeing it on like phones. But when you throw it on a professional looking
Right.
camera, like it's, I don't know, you break that fourth wall a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
why'd you
Yeah.
bring up Snapcam?
Because I think is a is a camera app on your computer that you can use in that kind of way. I think that's what it does, right? I mean, is it an
Uh,
integration? Yeah, maybe. I don't, technical details, but for sure you can use it as a camera app. And then if that's the camera you use for your video conferencing, then that's how it comes out.
yeah, interesting. Huh. Skip meetings. Oh shit. I'll have to check this out. It definitely could be something powerful to use if like I have a client who wants to present something or has a webinar. Like this could be
Right.
added benefit to a scene where I don't have to build this out, because like I can do this in Ecamm now, but a lot of it I have to build out manually. Once the scene is set up, it's set up. But it's just dope to know that a tool out there exists that is specialized in that. But yeah, dope shit. Any other tools I need to be looking out for?
That's the question. That's a good one. Let's see any other tools. Let's go back to AI. Have you used Midjourney?
I have not, and the only reason why is because they don't have a UI. It still requires you to go to Discord to use Midjourney, right?
That blew my mind, and I only used it for a month. I
Yeah.
paid for a month. I could get into their Discord, which was like, are you serious? This is how you use this product?
Bruh. Discord is
Um,
too close to Slack that it gives me so much PTSD that I'm just like, I can't see
oh,
myself in here.
that's a whole other it's a other issue. But I think it's really interesting that they decided not to go with any sort of interface and just use the community. I don't know enough about Discord's APIs and what it could do, but it's unbelievable. But I couldn't deal with it enough. I was like, I made my one or two images. I wrote my one generative AI article, or I think it was a children's story,
You wrote a children's
based
story?
on emoji. Yeah, it was super short, but
Did
it
you
was like
read
it
it
was
to your
a.
kids? Did you
Wait, hold on. I must have read it at least. Yeah, I must have. Yeah, I read it to them.
did
It
they
was
like it?
so. Here's the backstory. My daughter likes to grab the iPad, find the emoji keyboard, and just press all the emoji. Right, like just for no good reason. Right? She just opened. I think she knows where the Notes app is. My daughter's 5, by the way. She knows where the Notes app is, so she opens Notes, presses emoji, and then just finds emoji she likes, and she presses them. And I was like, one day I got to do something with this, which is like, what do you mean you do something? And then I was like, oh, I could put this, and I'll put this in ChatGPT, and I'll say, write me a story, a children's story, based on these emoji, in that order, right? I don't remember the prompt exactly, but and a nice 6-paragraph story came out. One day there was a donut that went to talk to a piece of bacon, and blah blah blah, and it was crap. But it was like, it's still amazing.
What do you
It
mean?
was like,
That's not crap. That's the setup for Sausage Party. By Seth
oh
Rogen.
man,
Have you seen
that's
that
funny.
movie?
I have not, But maybe I should, and maybe I should go down that whole rabbit hole of emoji
It's a
and
great
sausage
animated
parties.
movie.
Yeah, but yeah, again, Lincoln. I can put the link in the show notes here. But it's just if you put something into a word calculator, right? I think word calculator is the best way to describe ChatGPT right now. You give it words and you give it a little instruction, and stuff comes out, and it's freaking amazing, right? It's not gonna win you an Academy Award. It's not gonna make me an awesome marketer. It's not gonna make me an awesome podcast. It's just fuel. It's just it adds things to it. It provides you some starting points, and if you know how to take that and go with it, then it'll really be really powerful. Yeah, I forgot how we got here, but that was I was gonna say I made a Mid Journey generative AI piece image to accompany my children's short story, because what's a short story without a picture? And it came out with a great weird cloud full of dessert, because that's what most of what Emma picked in the emoji. So it was dope.
That's awesome. I think that is. Did your kids respond? Did they understand what was happening, or was it just something you just showed them?
I just showed them. They can't. They. I don't think they can understand it. But I did try to get across. Like I wrote, Emma. You know that story you wrote, aka
Mhm.
the emojis you put together. I told yeah. So I asked the computer to write me a story based on that, and so I read it one time. Again, it's just not good enough to capture their attention. But it was like cool, but they didn't. It wasn't more than that. It wasn't wow. How did it do that? It was just it's almost like it's supposed to do that, right? They don't know any better, right? They just oh that's cool. You could do that, cool, and move on. So that's how it went.
Oh shit! I wanted to. I have two questions. One of them's a little deep, so I'll save that one for last. But the other one is like you were mentioning, it's not going to win you an award. It's not going to like. Do we feel like because it's only going to exponentially get better? Like, at what point, if ever, do you think we should be worried about it?
Mm.
Yeah, because it's only a hop, skip away before. I think I was talking about with a friend where it's just, yeah, it's making clips now, but like I can see the same way that like templates exist for people to create TikToks and social media. I can see AI taking over and allowing people to at least do something like a daily vlog where it's like, hey, I know I'm just placing footage in sequential order as the day went on. You get me? And I need to
Hmm.
find the most interesting moments. Cool. Say less. I got that. You want to talk like Casey
Right. No.
Neistat? Say less. I got that. You get me? So at what point do you think we should be worried, if we should be worried at all?
Yeah. I need to look him up, but I'm almost sure his name is Mo Gadot.
Okay,
He's a
yes,
Googler.
I saw his interview on documentary of a CEO. Do I think I
Oh,
shared that episode with you, if I'm not mistaken. He said some scary shit.
was it?
He
Is
was
it a
like,
podcast or is it a documentary?
it's a video podcast called Documentary of a CEO.
Okay, then yeah, I'll just summarize it since you know it already. We should care right now about these things. I'm glad conversations are happening in the Congress, blah blah blah. But it's not that easy for one government to do anything. Um, but I'm not worried. Hmm. Okay, so what he said basically is we should worry now, and if we're that worried, we just tax the hell out of the companies that are using it, right? And business people, entrepreneurs are going to be like, "How could you do that?" But if you take away what is the thing that humans do other than have fun, right, which is work and be productive people in society, and not AI is not taking everything, but it will take the really good versions in years or decades. Will. I definitely think it will.
Yeah.
Tax the companies, tax them a really large amount of money, and and that means government intervention, right? That doesn't mean they'll self-regulate and this and that. That means government intervention, and and if it means taxing them 98% of their revenue, because it's not $1 billion business, they are $100 trillion business because of the potential value that they create.
Hmm.
You take all that money and you reinvest it in society, right? And call it Medicare, right? Call it healthcare for all. Call it what's the oh man? Mr. Math, you had the math hat. What was the math hat guy's name?
Oh, Andrew Yang,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
his whole data tax, like where he was talking about.
It's not that different, right? It's you
Mhm,
take the value from there and you apply it to where people need it. And
mhm.
I don't know how that'll interact with our society as a whole, but we society and specifically government and we as citizens should be pushing to say if technology is going to take away a lot of value from how people do things, which I do think it will in time, not now. Take that value and give it back to people. I strongly think that. And I think Mogadot said, imagine, oh no, that was Reid Hoffman. Imagine a world where the people get paid to do really hard work, like be a parent. That's not easy. Imagine people get paid to do hard work, like be a teacher. Those things are extremely valuable for society. And if those people were paid and didn't have to have a job to pay to support themselves, to raise children, to teach children, right? The for the future. Just you can't just imagine what that world is, right? Just
Yeah,
imagine what it's like. I'm staying home to take care of my son or my child, and the government's paying me to do that because they understand it is valuable to do that. That doesn't mean we should do it now, but
yeah,
I can see a world where that's true. If there's an AI doing all of the like so much of the work, almost all of the like white collar
yeah.
work.
I haven't thought
I
about.
see that.
I haven't thought about it
I
like that.
think
It's really interesting.
I think Reid Hoffman, he talks about it a lot. He wrote a book with ChatGPT four or GPT four, um, and I think it just yeah I think it makes a lot of sense for us to pay attention now. I think it makes a lot of sense for everyone who can to use it now as much as possible
Hmm.
to get to know what it could do, and for Congress to be like, that's cool. We have power. Society, citizens have given us power to control our destiny,
Hmm.
right? And we need to do that. We need to capitalize on that. And we need to vote for the people who are going to do that for us, and blah, blah, blah. The whole cycle works. It's not easy. You know, maybe Andrew Yang would be a perfect person to help push that forward. Highly doubt he's running for president again, anyways. But
Yeah, I think he got burned. I think he
yeah,
got
I
burned.
was actually listening to the podcast today. But yeah, he would definitely be at least on that side of things, right?
Yeah,
What's his thing called? Universal Basic Income, UBI. That's what I
yeah,
was looking
yeah,
for.
yeah,
It's UBI to another level, right? Because there's this alien force called AI that
which
could do
might be
things
alien.
that
Just kidding.
I figure someone said it. It is alien.
Hmm.
It's something. It's not human.
Hmm.
Is it alive? And is it no? None of that. But it's alien in that it's doing things that we don't understand,
Hmm.
and no one can truly understand how it exactly works. And we can't predict its future. We can't predict what it's going to do.
Hmm.
So it's alien to us. And so we should control ourselves. We should control our destiny. And if someone turned on the computer and that computer is running a certain thing and we need to control it in order to make sure we're safe, make sure we're prosperous, make sure people are healthy and can be happy, we need to do that. I think we should be caring about it right now. But I
Yeah,
think the way we care about it is by not shunning it, by not by leaning into it and seeing what it's doing, right?
yeah.
And understanding it. It's a weird thing, right? If there were aliens around, if there were actually aliens around, would you walk up to it and be like, "Hey, can I play with you? Can we talk?" No, you probably wouldn't do that. But for this is not that. We could do that, right? We could be like the silly articles that came out in the first few weeks where people would talk to it for hours and like, "Oh, it asked me
Yeah.
weird questions." I'm like, it's just a fucking program, dude. Just who cares?
Low key, I can
But
see a
we can't
future.
do it.
I can see a future where people are using AI tools and like giving them access to like specific data sets of their lives and treating
Right.
AI tools like, and I don't want to say this, going to an AI tool to get a diet plan or like going to an AI tool to read your future or see what you're more likely susceptible to based on your eating habits, based on all the data that you've acquired from your phone in your pocket or from your Apple Watch on your wrist, and getting really deepful insights into their lives, and allowing them to be more reflective on themselves and the choices that they make on a daily basis. But it runs along this like scary pathway, which is just like, it's almost like religious. It's almost like a bit of that blurry line of, I can see people looking to AI for love. You know what I mean? Like looking to
Oh yeah,
AI for like, all right, you got everybody else's data. Who's my soulmate? You get me? And opening
sure.
the door to those Black Mirror episodes that we've all seen.
Yeah,
That's,
fiction is real, man.
yeah. Can I ask, like, how do you feel about the world that your children are going to go in? Like, are you afraid if all at any there's going to be less and less for them to choose from, or and what are they interested in now that may stand to not exist in the future?
Was that the deep question?
Is it deep? I don't know. Again,
It's pretty deep because talk about my kids and their future.
because I'm getting ready
I'm
to be a
very
dad myself, so it
yeah.
feels like
No,
it's
no,
here, and I'm
I
worried about
understand.
it. Mo was like, "Don't have kids" in that interview that I saw. He was like,
Yeah,
"I
yeah,
would not have kids right now." So it just
yeah. I mean that. I don't know that. I don't know about that opinion. I'm so rose colored glasses. I think things work themselves out. I think power. I think it's we are resilient that we will understand how this thing will benefit us. Not maybe not in the short term. Maybe not for 20 years,
mhm.
right? But as a society, I am confident now. Now, I said not 20 years. Maybe it's not for 100 years, right? Maybe in 100 years from now, we figured out how to use this well, and my kids will not be alive probably in 100 years, but and they will go through a hundred years of difficulty, and I don't want that for them. But what I do care more about is society, right? And as long as we figure that out for society's benefit over time, I'm all for it. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I get the most value. I'm going to make sure I can to help my children learn how to use it as a tool, the way that social media is a tool, the way that Google Maps is a tool. Everything's a tool. You put in some information, you get some value out of it. If we can figure out, I'll be there for them to help them with that. I'm not going to be like, you can't use ChatGPT. That's cheating. Like, that's some BS. It's a tool. Let's not do the boring essays and let's come up with a new way to. Perfect example. I was just talking to my daughter about, she was like, I want to go to this store called Claire's. And I was like, in a few years, you can work there. And then like immediately I was like meaning thinking like, oh, maybe she's 14 or maybe 16, whatever the youngest age, right, to do some retail job. And then I was like, but wait a second, maybe when you're 14, you can start a business. And guess who's going to give you the business plan? Your the internet slash AI slash whatever, right? Like the technology would be there to say, I like this and I like that. How do I make money on it? Okay, cool. I'm going to start. And when I'm 14, I'm going to start a business. And when I'm in college, by the time I get to college, who knows if college exists in my weird future for my children, they're going to be fine. They're already going to have started business. They're already going to have implemented, use these tools to their own benefit, right? To hopefully the benefit of me. Hopefully they start an awesome business. They can support me too. But I'm not.
Get
I'm
that
not.
3D
I'm not
printer,
worried
my
about that.
guy. Start making them
Oh,
prototypes.
it's in the other. It's in the other room, dude. The
You
3D
got a
printer is
3D
in the other
printer
room.
already?
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, I need to
yeah.
see what you've been playing with.
Oh, nothing yet, but it just arrived like a week ago. But it's come. But the whole idea, it makes perfect sense. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to want to print and make things for my house, right? What do I need around my house? What do I want? I printed something with a friend of mine a few years ago, and I know the technology is going to get easier, and now I can probably just prompt something, and a CAD file will come out, right? And it's, just think about that, right? It's basically speaking something I want X, and a few hours later, because 3D printers are slow, it appears in real life. That's that's magic, right? I'm sure you've heard the definition of technology or whatever. It's like like I'm butchering this, but the point is, it's technology is no different than magic, right? It's like you just do something and something appears or something happens, right?
Mhm.
Programming when I started decades ago was magic, absolute magic. and now it could be three-dimensional magic. It could be it could be in real life. It could be a prompt, and you have a story to read your child that includes their name and the 3 years of their life or 5 years of their life, and now it's a story about them and the future. Think about that. Within seconds, all of that is possible.
Yeah.
There's lots of bad stuff will happen too. Yep, a lot of bad stuff is happening outside my window right now. A lot of bad stuff is happening in Hawaii right now. I'm not happy about any of that stuff, but the benefits are always, to me, always outweigh the negatives because we're the people behind it. Humans are.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there are bad humans. Yep, but there's way more good ones, and that's all good. So to me, it all works itself out.
Yeah. I think Mo was talking about to the point where like we should put it on pause, or we should stop it from like the point of critical thinking and starting to combine different ideas from other spots. But it's just we've already passed that threshold where it's just if the biggest businesses aren't going to do it, that kid in his bedroom is going to do it, or in their bedroom is going to do it. As you were talking to me about the idea of like how your kids could possibly live in a future where if they want to start something, a tool will help them. And as you were saying that out loud, like in my head, I was like, this is generational wealth. That's what generational wealth was. You get me? That's what it was, where it's just if you came from a family where you had business owners in your family, they would teach you, oh, why are you doing it that way? Come over here. I got your EIN number. Like, I got a guy. He'll spit it out in 30 seconds. Boom, we got a business. You get me? Oh, you don't got funding for it? Oh, let's dip into your trust fund. I don't fucking know, but like the playing field is getting leveled, and I can see like a future where, yeah, everyone does have their own small little business or empire where like they do things their way. I also, low-key, I like the idea of like how these AI tools are essentially like allowing us to ask better questions, and not only from the prompt perspective, but like better questions of, is this the way that we should be living? You get me? Are we meant to work 24/7? And that's why I think when you had said that idea about raising a kid is work and teaching a kid is work, like, yeah, those things are fucking work, and they should be getting compensated for those things. I never thought about it like that, like how those things can now be taken a lot more seriously as this kind of comes in and makes all the other needs and worries just not go away, but they just become a lot easier to tackle.
Totally. Teaching is obvious. Teaching is extremely valuable. And how could we expect our future to be bright if the kids that are in school are not learning the right things, or not learning how to learn, not learning the right tools, not learning the right frameworks for how to learn? All that stuff is extremely important. And sure, they could get better at it when they get older, but if you learn how to do it well earlier, everything will be better.
Yeah.
But on the raising a child front, right? Someone could say, there's no way we're paying people to raise kids. And then you just have to look at the taxes, which is if you have kids and you work, you can get an earned income tax credit now.
Yeah.
Which means, don't ask me how much it's worth, blah, it's details. The point is, they'll give you some credit toward, right, paying less taxes because you're a parent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the same thing as getting paid. Where's the money coming from and blah, details, whatever. Important details, but can be solved. And so the point for me is, we've already realized it's important, right? We've already given those people who have harder lives, right? How do you compare people and their lives? I don't know. You put me and my peer with no children. My peer has an easier life, right?
Yeah.
And do I deserve any credits? And I don't know. He has an easier life. So whatever society can do for parents, right, benefits everybody, because parents don't have it easy. Chris, it's not easy, as you will know very soon. It's not easy by any means. A lot of people, there's a lot of wishful thinking, a lot of it's going to be fine, it gets better. Those things are true, but it starts from it's hard. It doesn't start from it's okay and it goes up and down. It starts from it's effing hard. That's been my experience with my two children, 5 and 8. And that's me. That's my generational trauma. Back to that word, generational, and how I was raised, and where I'm at now. And my wife and how she was raised, and the societies and groups that we grew up in. But these are difficult things to do,
Hmm.
and I think there's value in providing some safety, some incentive, some money when it comes down to it, right? Call it
Yeah.
support, call it whatever you want, but these are hard things. And I'm not here trying to bring my children up to only work at the retail shop.
Hmm.
I know some kids can only get there. I don't know what to say about that, right?
Yeah.
There's different levels of intention and uh, desire and drive. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure my children have a bunch of intention, a bunch of drive, want to make the world better, want to make their lives better, want to make their friends and family lives better. And I think we deserve credit for that. I think parents don't get a lot of credit for that.
Yeah. No, I think that's damn that was heavy. I was gonna ask. I love how forward thinking you are about it. Like, I do feel, and I've always felt like our education system, especially when it comes to just public school education, has needed some work. And I'm hoping that with this introduction of AI and with teachers fighting kids like for using AI, and meanwhile they're just a lot of public education, at least, it's just memory retention, and it opens the door. We got, I think, not Tokyo, Japan was doing it at a school maybe in Tokyo, and I hear that now China's doing it, where like they're testing out these fully like automated schools where, yeah, there's still a
Mm.
teacher there, there's still like someone there, but a majority of the learning and everything is done through AI. I think China is using it as a means to like make sure kids are paying attention, and I think I saw
Mm.
other examples of it, like being where it's used as a tool to provide a mascot to the learning that the kid is getting
Mm.
behind, where it's like, if the kid loves SpongeBob, all right, now SpongeBob is your math teacher. You get me?
Yeah,
Let's go.
definitely. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
how do you feel about these things? Are you open to the idea? Are you open to, and again, if parenting is the thing, are you open to the idea of someone coming in and be like, hey, we'll give you X amount of money to teach your kid using this AI tool, and
Mm.
all you have to do is be in the room for when things go wrong, or be in the room
Mm.
to provide that human touch to explanation and things like that? Would you be open to that?
There's a lot of things there. There's a lot of details there. How much money? What kind of AI?
Yeah.
How much time am I spending? There's a lot there. The short answer is the short answer is yes.
Yeah.
You know, I get my child can go into it. I'm very happy with our public school,
Hmm.
but my child can go into his public classroom and sit with 28 other kids, and three kids are in the corner yelling,
Hmm.
and everyone's, could you guys like be quiet? And they don't stop. And I'm not mad at those kids. That's just their behavior. Now, someone could their parents be more involved? This, whatever. Yeah, school is hard. Try to teach 28 kids, right? I can't teach my two kids
Yeah.
anything, right? The number of tutors I already have for things, I'm like, I can't believe this has happened. So imagine trying to do that with 28. There is, I'm learning a little more about education, and there's a word called differentiation that people use in education a lot, and it's really like, how do you try to levels? Not, it's actually the opposite of level setting. It's finding students where they're at, right? Not every student. So there's a SpongeBob piece, which is cool, and if I could have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle teach me math, I probably would have done that. But there's also, not every kid can just grasp everything at the same speed as the other 27 kids in the room.
Hmm.
And so some, you either bring in 15 more teachers to create a bunch of little mini classrooms, or you bring in technology. And obviously AI, whatever. Let's just say the AI was the word AI wasn't even here. If there was tech to do that, would I do that? Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, like I said, short answer is yes. There's a bunch of details. Would I love it to not have? It's tough. The weirdest thing that gives me pause is I don't want them doing even more screen time.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that much. We try to keep it at a certain level, but I also think the screen time, the way people use the word screen time is inappropriate. I think There's a very big difference from watching bad YouTube stuff and educational stuff, and very big difference there. And then if the AI is, hey, you're learning about angles, go talk to your mom and dad and come back with a picture of a 75-degree angle in your house. Why, I'll take it, right? And then what happens if you take that 75 and you do blah blah blah, and there's no reason that it has to be stuck in your face on the screen.
Yeah.
It could, if AI has everything we're chalking it up to be, it could be like, hey, here's the 30-second clip that you need to watch, and then here's an hour-long project you can go do and come back when you're done.
Yeah.
And take a picture of it, and take a picture with your school camera / phone / app, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll just know, and I'll grade you, and I'll give you feedback, and I won't even need to, you won't need to, my son won't need to be looking at a screen most of the time. Yeah, the answer is yes. One hell yes, because differentiation matters. Getting
Yeah.
kids to where they're at and helping them learn the way they can learn best, super important. And public schools can't do it. Private schools can't do it either. They just have smaller classroom sizes so they can do it better.
That individualized learning component is, honestly, I feel like we live in a magical time. Like I used to, like, I remember people used to always ask, like, growing up, oh, would you want to live in the Stone Age, or would you, like, I don't know. I think I wouldn't take back the time that we're living in right now. Like, we are witnessing all of this change in front of our eyes, and you and I get to be a part of the generation that got to see the zeros and ones turn into everything that we see now. You get me? I want to be.
I was programming with almost zeros and ones.
Yeah.
Did I ever program with 0 and 1s? I might have done it. I might have done binary code one time. But at least I did whatever the level up from binary is, which is like, I forget the name of it. But it's like writing code directly to the part of the chip on the computer. Some instruction goes in this chip, this other instruction goes in this other chip, and they know how to talk to each other. I did not do binary, I don't think, but I'm pretty damn close to that. So yeah, it's definitely pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, not bad. I was getting ready to say before, we are an hour and 12 in. I know it's late on your side, and I know you got kids. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Do you have a little time to talk longer, or how you feeling?
Hold on. Yeah, you can edit out me squinting at the screen. And since we're editing, please edit this out. I'll give you my secret word that I use for Ed and I. It's just funny to say. So we just say apple bottom jeans every time we want to cut out something. Ed is a funny guy who
does he ever reply boots with the fur, or like do you?
No,
he has boots with the fur.
I should do that next time.
I don't know if I can cut this out. Yeah. This is pretty damn funny.
Oh man! But then everyone will know. Hey, I wonder if they said apple bottom jeans at that point, right there. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no, I have to get going. It's getting late for sure.
Yeah.
But Chris, let me just say, it's been awesome to talk to you. It's awesome. It's always awesome to talk to you, whether we're recording or not. But yeah, this has been a great time. Let's do this again. Right? I'm down.
Yeah, this is just part one. I'll put part one in the thumbnail. I mean, there'll be a part two.
No doubt.
And maybe I'll call this the Bips and Threads episode. Who knows? No doubt. Are you Bip and he's Threads, or because that's gonna come out. Someone's gonna like who's Bip and who's
It's the other way around. If it has to be one way, it's the other way around.
Okay, I get it. You come from the tech side. Threads. He comes from the finance side.
Yeah.
But you gotta beat Threads now. Threads, you don't know if Threads is gonna do well. Threads was like good for a hot second, but
I hear you, but Twitter's gonna crash. So,
maybe we can get into that. I want to understand you mean X? You mean now, not Twitter?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's gone. Twitter's already gone. See, my prediction's already right. Twitter's already gone.
All right. I'm gonna finish this real quick. All right. See you guys.